Hello everyone, it is January 4th, 2018. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you had a safe and happy New Year. Yesterday was New Comics Day, and unfortunately my shop didn't get their comics in till today just due to weather. We got a lot of snow and ice out where I am, so they were delayed a day, but picked up my books today, and I just want to run through my new pickups. There's some really good books in this week's haul. That you're going to want to get. Couple. I got. Normally, I give you one pick of the week, and that's generally one that I think is going to do quite well down the road. Not only is it a good story and great artwork, but it's one that's going to go up in value. And there's one for sure this week and two honorable mentions. So really, there's three good books out this week. I've talked about a couple of them in the past, but I'll run through them anyways. But before I get to that, I just want to give a quick shout out to. I want to try to give shout outs to other YouTubers who I've watched quite a few of their videos over the years, and they've kind of encouraged me to or given me the courage to kind of come out and do this. So I really like their videos. Reaper Tate 728 got a ton of good info. If you haven't been to a site, go check it out. Really good videos, really good tips. The comic book villain, man, that guy gets a haul of comics every week. Holy crap, he puts me to shame. I mean, he's probably got to have 20 pounds of comics every week. It's amazing. I don't know how he affords it. Anyways, and lastly this week is Arkham Comics Las Vegas. Dan, he used to have a shop down in Vegas. I've never met the guy, but I really like his videos. He has some good information, and he also talks about grading books a fair amount on his site, and he seems to grade books fairly accurately and not overgrade books, which a lot of people do, so I like that. Anyways, check out those three sites if you haven't been to them. Really good. And like I said, every week I'm going to try and give a shout out to a few different sites. There's a ton of good ones out there, so I have it named. You don't please don't be offended, because I more than likely watched videos on your site. But anyways, I'm just going to start this week with an old 12 center I picked up, Green Lantern number 22. It's volume 2. It's in pretty rough shape, but I mean, the guy at the shop was pretty much giving it away, so I couldn't pass it up. But it's one I didn't have, and down the road, if I come across a better copy, I'll swap it out. But I like the old Green Lanterns and Flash comics from the 60s. So anyways, that's a cool one I picked up. One of the first new ones I got this week was this one didn't come out this week. It came out, I think, 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Barbarella number 1. There was a bunch of different variants for that. But I like that one. It's kind of the throwback to the 70s, the old 70s fantasy paintings and whatnot, so it's kind of cool. That was from Dynamite Comics. This week's comics, this is another one from a couple weeks ago, Dark Fang number 2. I got number 1, and I really like the cover on that one. It's a kind of a good series, and that cover is awesome. Well, by half the time I buy a book just based on the cover. So new out this week, Spawn 281. I mentioned 282 in a couple of my videos. A new characters introduced, and I'm pretty sure the characters. I haven't read this, but I'm pretty sure the characters in that book. So I think the next issue is the first full appearance. I'm not 100% sure of that. So, but anyways, that's a good one to get. And this is going to be one of my honorable mentions. I talked about this many times, but Walking Dead 175. You got the regular cover here, and then you got the variant cover. That one's a good one. It's got a lot of new characters and villains and whatnot, and there's a 6-issue. This New World Order storyline is a 6-issue story arc, so that's a good one to pick up if you haven't got it. But I'm getting these this variant. I picked up a couple of my shop. I had them on my pull list for quite a while, so he got me a couple. But there's not a ton of them out there. So, anyways, that's a really good one to get. That's one of my honorable mentions. That's it for Image and the Independence. From Marvel, I got Rise of the Black Panther number 1. I really like that cover. That's a cool looking cover. I think that's a 4-part miniseries if I remember right. I haven't read it, but it looks kind of cool. I've talked about the Spider-Man Sinister Six. I've been buying that for a little while. That's the part 3 of that, and I really like that storyline. And like I was saying, the original Sinister Six was annual number 1 from '64, and there has been talk of a Sinister Six movie. Whether or not they do it, I don't know, but who knows? Maybe they'll go off that storyline. I also picked up Astonishing X-Men number 7. It's a Man Called X Part 1. That looks like an interesting story. That looks kind of cool. And next one I got from Marvel was Rogue and Gambit number 1. I think it's pretty well known that one was coming out. And again, this is another honorable mention. I've talked about this one quite a bit. This is Guardians of the Galaxy number 150 and the Return of the Warlock. And this is the regular cover. And just like last week, the Phoenix Resurrection had a lenticular cover, and it actually looked really good. And this one looks really good. As I've also mentioned before about the Legacy lenticulars, they were garbage covers. They look terrible. These ones actually look really good. And it's got a really cool 3D effect on it. So pick that one up because the Return of Warlock, that's a good one to get. Anyways, those are two. So Walking Dead 175 and this 150, those are two honorable mentions, so you know there's a good one coming. Next up from DC, Batman and the Signal number 1 was out today. There's a regular and the variant cover for that. It's a 3-issue miniseries, as it says on the cover. I don't know, I'm going to go with it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really impressed with what's going on with Batman lately, so as I'm sure you're all well aware. It's funny because growing up, I was a total Marvel fan and wasn't into DC as much. I obviously liked DC and some of their comics, but I've flipped lately. Like, DC is really kicking ass right now, and there's some really good books. So hopefully that one's good. I've been really impressed with, like I say, some of the other DC stuff. So this is another honorable mention, and this is Batman White Knight number 4. You've got the regular cover and the variant cover. And the variant cover, that is the first cover that Neo Joker has been on the front. So last issue number 3 was the first full appearance of Neo Joker. And this is the second full appearance in the book, but first cover that she's on. So that's a really good one to get too. And so that's another. So you basically got 3. I think I said 2 honorable mentions. You got 3 honorable mentions. And my pick of the week this week is Batman 38. Every time I get a Batman book, I tell you guys that I love my Batman, and you cannot go wrong with Batman, and you should be buying Batman, and I really hope you have been buying Batman, because this one has Tom King as the writer, and he has introduced a new villain in this book. I'm going to read a quote. I'm not going to tell you what happens in the book because I don't want to do that. I told you guys I wouldn't do that. But this is right from his Twitter. This was back in the end of November. He said, to make sure Joelle Jones could draw the Wonder Woman issues, which is part of the current story arc, which started, I believe, in issue number 36. And that runs for 4 or 5 issues. I can't remember how long it is, but this one's kind of in the middle. It's like a one-shot storyline. Anyways, to make sure Joelle Jones could draw the Wonder Woman issues, we added a one and done in 38. King responded, it's a Batman as Dark Detective issue and introduces my first original Bat villain who will play a big role going forward. I kind of love it. So I know what happens in this, and I know there's a character introduced. The character is going to obviously have a big role in the future. So where that happens, I don't know, but I highly recommend you start picking up Batman, especially with Tom King writing. It would make sense that he introduces the new character in its full form. So yeah, pick up Batman and get that issue. There's 2 covers. This is a regular cover. It's kind of got a Neil Adams-esque look to it. I really like it. Got Two-Face, and I think that Zaz is the other guy, but and I love that cover. And then you got the variant here, so that is definitely one you want to get. It's already gone up. Trying to buy, if you buy 2 of those on eBay, you're paying $20, $20 to $30 already, just because it's a new villain. And yeah, you want to get that one. A lot of the shops, I picked up multiple copies. I pre-ordered a ton of copies of it, but pick that one up. Go to your shop tomorrow and get it if you don't have it. So anyways, that's it for this week. Next week there's a couple books out that I'm looking at. Venom 160, continuation of that Venom Inc. storyline. That's the last Venom issue in that storyline. And then Avengers 675, that's the start of that No Surrender storyline that comes out. And that's a 12 issue story arc, and I believe it's supposed to be a book a week, starting with 675. And like I say, I think in that storyline, in the 680, I'm not exactly sure what number it is, I think 683, that's where I believe the Hulk, it kind of turns towards the Hulk and he becomes the Immortal Hulk, so you want to pick those up for sure too. And just a quick shout out to my sponsors tonight, being Thor, Giant Size Thor, and Thor number 207. Anyways, that's it this week, guys and girls. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed and gives me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.